Rourke. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, in the 9 lines of effort that comprise our strategy, the first one that you cited is political, and you said that every other line of effort follows from that. We must be successful politically if we're going to be successful at all in any of the other lines of strategy, and if we are going to achieve our goals in the region. You gave as an example in your opening testimony building governance. Can you tell us where we have built governance in that region successfully? And this follow-up question to that is, how long will that take, since everything follows the success of that first line of effort?
It's a very good question. It's a very complicated task, and in Iraq it'll mean when helping the Iraqis, helping them when they recover territory from ISIL, to build a system of governance that the people who live there support and are willing to support and defend in the long term. You say, where have we had success? My own view is we've had considerable success in Afghanistan. I was just speaking to President Ghani yesterday morning. He was reporting the results of the campaign there. Again, the Afghan security forces, which we are enabling, which we trained and equipped and are enabling. The National Unity Government of President Ghani and CEO Abdullah, which is a multi-sectarian government holding together. This in Afghanistan, which I think if you go back 15 years would say a very unlikely place for that to be done. So now we have assisted and enabled that. Our people are very good at that. We're not at that stage yet in Iraq, but when we get to that stage, I think that we will participate in an international effort to help these places that are tragically demolished to rebuild themselves and govern themselves.
So 15 years in Afghanistan to get to a successful example of building governance in this region, and including the fact that we've been in Iraq in one form or another since 2003, invested tens of billions of dollars to assist in building governance, trained and equipped an army that melted in the face of the enemy. I have some serious reservations about the potential to achieve success on this first line of effort. The third line of effort that you mentioned is helping to produce a capable, committed local ground force. You admitted that we had budgeted to train and equip 24,000, have only been able to recruit 7,000. You add to that the only ground forces apart from the Iraqi army are the Shia militias funded and led and armed by Iran. Is this a serious proposal? Is this a serious line of effort that we can seriously expect to succeed, given the most recent failures and your admission that the Iraqi National Army lacks the will to fight?
Well, it's a serious effort, but it hinges upon Sunni fighters coming into the Iraqi security forces, being trained and equipped by us and the coalition, enabled by us, but fighting for their homeland. That's the essential ingredient. That was absent starting last summer. It was quite clearly absent. Not everywhere, because earlier we talked about the Peshmerga. I mentioned the CTS and other units of the Iraqi security forces that did fight. And as you indicate, there are Shia militias, which we don't support. We only support those that fall under the government of Iraq as part of our overall strategy of supporting a multi-sectarian government there. So that is the strategy. It's difficult. I think the gap between 7,000 and 24,000, the whole point of Taqadum is to try to close that gap, because we're trying to close that with Sunni fighters. That's the essential ingredient, and I think we're going to get on track to close that gap, and that's important.
In an exchange earlier, one of my colleagues and you had agreed that one of our primary missions is to support soldiers and families. I can think of no greater way of supporting them than ensuring that we have a strategy that can succeed when we're going to place them in harm's way and acknowledge that many of them will lose their lives or have their lives changed irrevocably upon return. So I hope there's a plan B from the administration. With that, I yield back.
I amen to that. That's yet another reason why they deserve, as you deserve, a clear explanation of what we're trying to accomplish.
Dr. Fleming.